the songs have been so great so far. You don't know how much it means for these guys to hear you guys singing those songs. You guys like it? Yeah. Loving it. So it means a lot to them. So thank you for the time you put into that. I'm going to introduce our next speaker. Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Coconut Grove served 26 years in the United States Air Force. He flew his entire career. He has a total of 3,900 hours flying in the A-37 and F-16s. He has been stationed in Panama, Florida, South Carolina, Arizona, Egypt, and back again in Arizona. He flew combat missions in Panama and Iraq. He retired in May 2011 from the Luke Air Force Base. He is currently a United Airlines first officer on a 757 in Los Angeles. I remember my very first year doing this assembly, he was deployed, and I remember little Emma holding up a picture of her daddy and introducing him to us. And I remember feeling very touched for this man's service and just so grateful for him. And it's an honor to introduce him, Lieutenant Colonel Grove.
Thanks very much for the introduction, and I'd like to thank the Candeo administration for continuing this awesome tradition. I'd like to thank Amy for starting this, 9 years ago, and then continuing on. It's a lot of work, but it means a lot to the veterans that stay here and to the history of America. I'm going to talk to you really quickly of what is Veterans Day. It started out as Armistice Day for honoring World War I, started the 11th month of the 11th day and the 11th hour for the war to end all wars. Obviously that didn't happen. It changed to Veterans Day to honor all veterans past and present, to show the support from the American public for their service to their country. I'll give you my definition shortly, but I want to give you a reason why I chose the military as a profession and a career. And it was 3 events in my childhood that set me on this path to go to the military. For one, I know this is going to sound like I'm really old, but I sat in front of my TV at 7 years old, black and white TV, watching Neil Armstrong step on the moon. And it was such an exciting thing to see as a kid that we could travel to another distant object and land. So I was enthralled with flying. I read all the books I could. I built model rockets. I did model airplanes. I took my first flying lesson before I could drive a car. So I set my stage to want to fly. The second one was assembly much like this in middle school, shortly after the end of the Vietnam War. A local hero, Navy lieutenant, had been shot down in North Vietnam. He was taken prisoner of war, and he was repatriated. He came back and he gave us a speech. And the thing that impressed me most about that speech was the fact that he, under all the extreme and harsh conditions he faced as a prisoner of war, he never gave up faith in the Navy, in the United States of America, or his fellow prisoners, that he would be returned home. And I thought to myself, to endure that and continue to say that he would have done that made me want to be part of an organization such as that. And the thing that also kept him hope was the American flag. And he looked at our American flag, showing the freedom and the sacrifice that people did, and that kept him going until he came back home. So that set my stage to join the military versus just flying. And the third and final event was kind of twofold. I was able in Scouts to go over to Vance Air Force Base in Enid, Oklahoma, which is a pilot training base, and we got to play in simulators, go out on the flight line, touch the airplanes, listen to the noise, smell the jet fuel, and it was like, wow, this is something I want to do. So I did that, and then finally, my Oklahoma history teacher, who was a fighter pilot in Vietnam, used to tell us incredibly awesome stories versus teaching us about history, about his time in Vietnam. And it sounded so exotic places that he was at, doing awesome things, flying incredible airplanes, that I decided to make a goal, which was to join the military and become an Air Force fighter pilot. I went through high school, graduated, went to college. Luckily, I was fortunate enough to be physically qualified to apply. was commissioned a second lieutenant in the Air Force in 1985, went to pilot training, one of the most rewarding and toughest years of my life, and then I started my Air Force career flying fighters. I have been throughout the world. I have traveled to many different places, worked with incredible people such as this, and that is what Veterans Day is to me. So I look back at Veterans Day on this day, and I look and reflect on my career, the places I was, the missions I flew, the people I worked with, and the fact that I served and protected my country. So I challenge you to talk to your veteran, to other people, and ask them their story. Because it's interesting, it'll be different from mine, but the common ground is they all wanted to serve their country. I have two other challenges for you. For one, I'd like to thank your support, your parents' support, and the support of the American public. We have been in combat now continuously for 27 years, so pretty much my whole entire career in the Air Force. And the support that the American public has given to the military is invaluable. You will never know what it means to a military member and their families, the support that the American people have for them. It makes our jobs so much easier. And finally, in that same light, last year, Walmart started greenlightavet.com, which is to take one of your lights on the exterior of your house and change it from white to green to honor and show support for the American veterans. I challenge you that with your parents tonight, if you can, to go out and get a green light bulb, change it on your house to show support for the American veterans. I appreciate you taking the time to listen, and God bless America.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, and thank you for your service, Lieutenant Colonel Grove. Veterans, it's a very special part of the assembly. Our fourth graders are now going to sing the armed services songs from each military branch. And we invite you to please stand when you hear your military branch's song being sung. And students, if you have a sign of a veteran that can't be here today, please raise your sign so we can honor them as well when you hear their song being sung. Fourth graders, please stand.
Our claim, our glory to
Great job. You did a great job. Don't forget that. Middle school students, you have a song to sing for us, please. Till the last shot's fired.